One of the biggest misconceptions about politics is that it only matters once you are old enough to vote. But the reality is that government decisions affect every single person, regardless of age. The schools we attend, the roads we drive on, the technology we use, the environment we live in, and even the opportunities available to us are all influenced by politics created at local, state, and federal levels. You don't have to be 18 years old to have an opinion. You do not have to be a political expert to ask questions, and you definitely don't have to wait until you're older to start making an impact. After one of the craziest, busiest, and most chaotic years of my life, I am so excited to share that the Politicast is back. I cannot express how grateful I am for the opportunity and platform to share so much more information with you all and help you all get politically involved. For those of you who are new, welcome. The Politicast is a podcast dedicated to helping you learn policies like your ABCs. We want to educate young and future voters on government systems, current events, and the intricacies of elections in the United States. So, if you've been an avid subscriber or listener, usually in all of my episodes, you know that I'm focused on addressing a certain topic. Things like special elections or the Supreme Court. By the way, you can watch all of my old episodes on my channel at the Politicast. For today's topic, however, I want to focus on the Politicast's mission and origin story and tell you a little bit more about why it's important for youth to get involved in politics. So, I decided to kind of generate a series of questions with the help of AI to kind of help you understand what is the Politicast, why should you listen, and what can you gain from it. So, I've broken this podcast episode down into 4 sections. A little bit about the Politicast, information about what to expect from us, politics in general, and just 1 or 2 fun questions at the end. So the first question is, why have we started the Politicast, and what is the reason behind this? For today, I want to really take you back to when we were all younger. Oftentimes, at a young age, people feel like politics is so out of reach. This includes people, maybe you're in elementary, middle, or high school, but it also includes a lot of young adults, especially in the United States. I mean, if you look at it in a bigger picture, some of our country's oldest senators are in their 80s, and they might be representing you. And sure, the young ones are in their mid to late 30s, but that's still pretty old compared to an 18-year-old. Seeing this age gap is really what made me realize how hard it is for a lot of young adults to relate to politics, see or feel themselves being represented and understood by their senators, representatives at a federal and state and even local level. The way I think our generation moves is just so different from any other generation. And that's true for any discrepancy between generations. I mean, we've grown up with phones, AI, and have completely normalized having technology in our life for a majority of our lives. Contrary, maybe if you're talking to some of your parents, aunts, uncles, guardians, whatever that looks like, they probably did not grow up with having a phone since middle school or high school. They didn't maybe have television to watch Netflix every day. And I feel like, informally speaking, because of that, our generation is wired so differently and we have such a different set of problems. Including this, I mean, it's tough sometimes for young people in the United States to feel like they found their voice. Oftentimes, as a young person, when you're standing in a crowd, you maybe feel like you're the youngest person there, so you don't have as much power. Maybe you feel like you're not as educated, but that was always important to me, and that's why I decided to start the Politicast, because this isn't a place where I really go into specific political parties or telling you what to vote for. More on that a little bit later. My goal is to give you the context that you need to form your own opinions, tools, skill sets to advocate for yourselves. And even if you're in high school or middle school looking for opportunities, or you're a young adult looking to amplify your voice, the point of the Politicast is to give you an opportunity and a tool and an understanding to be heard in a country and even in a world where sometimes it's easy to feel like as a young person your voice is really drowned out. So the second question is, how have your political views been involved in starting this podcast? I touched on this, but I really want to emphasize one thing that's always been important to me is becoming the Politicast being a nonpartisan place. So I'm not going to tell you what opinions to have ever. Honestly, I understand that politics is such a deeply personal thing. Everyone comes from different backgrounds and experience and have experienced political socialization through parents, school, geography, even in such a different way. And there's no judgment for having any type of political view because that's not my goal. My goal is to really provide you context and information that you need to form your own opinions, which you are entitled to. Honestly, a strong democracy really depends on people who are willing to learn, question, and engage respectfully. I mean, even when you disagree with someone, disagreement is really the foundation of what makes our country because if we didn't have Republican and Democrats and we didn't have that clash, then it would maybe be harder for compromises and things to get done. Third question is, what inspired you to come back after taking a break? For those of you who don't know, I had published previously 5 episodes of the Politicast, but I took a break after that, honestly, unintentionally. I found that time just slipped away from me in a way that was uncontrollable. I had so many things going on in my personal life, in my academic life as well, so it made it really impossible to spend a dedicated amount of time to really produce quality episodes. That is what I want for the Politicast. But now I have time, I have definitely dedication, and I really want to make this work, and I really want to work on marketing and helping get the word out there. The Politicast is such a fun and great opportunity to get your questions answered and learn so much more through a podcast. The reason I came back and I got inspired to come back is because I was anticipating midterms kind of coming around, and I feel like this is the perfect time to get back in and really convince you guys to participate in the midterms however you can, and that's what inspired me to kind of come back. So the fourth question is, are you studying politics? Absolutely. I'm definitely really excited. I'm super interested in political science, philosophy, economics, law, and my education will definitely be influencing the Politicast as I get to meet people and I continue my education. So definitely stay tuned for that type of content. Now I'm excited to kind of transition into telling you a little bit more about what to expect from us. So for number 5, our fifth question is, will the Politicast tell people what to vote for? As I've mentioned, I just want to make it really clear. My goal is to explain policies, not persuade you how to vote. So I will never tell you how to vote or who to vote for. You are entitled to your own opinion, and you can build that from what you hear on the Politicast and also what you do in your own time in terms of research. The sixth question is, who is this podcast for? This podcast is for literally anyone who's interested in understanding political systems. We specifically like to talk more geared towards high school students, college students, first time voters, but it literally includes anyone. And a lot of our episodes cover so many topics that people who aren't super in tuned with the political world might really benefit from hearing. Now, seventh question is just so exciting, and I'm very, very thrilled to kind of talk about this. To probably talk about it for a while in detail. But what kind of episodes can we expect from the Politicast this season? There is so much that I have going on in my brain and so much in the works. So I'm excited to announce that our team is slowly but surely working on developing short form content ideas to also start building our Instagram and YouTube Shorts presence. But for episodes, you can definitely expect to see interviews. I am working hard to kind of figure out how I want to section off interviews and where the way I want to plan them. For context, my goal is to have 10 episodes of the podcast published before I go ahead and invite guests, just so I have my own kind of foundation and guests kind of have a good idea of what the Politicast is really about before they come on here. You can definitely expect current event debrief, especially going into the midterms. There is so much going on right now. in our political world, locally for me and also just across the country that I'm excited to cover and tell you about. We also have, I just mentioned, Supreme Court cases, elections, and I'd love to really focus on AI policy. I'm really interested in seeing what AI is going to do to the political world, what's already doing, so be tuned for an episode on that. And then obviously, I try to kind of integrate opportunities for you all as much as possible, so that will definitely come through. We might have like an opportunities episode or a YouTube short that you can kind of look at that will help you. Now, the eighth question was, will you have guests? And I think I kind of touched on this, but I'll absolutely be aiming to have guests, and I will definitely keep you guys updated in episodes on what to expect. You can obviously follow our social media and follow us on Spotify so you know what to expect. Now, moving into our politics kind of section. So, our ninth question is, why should teenagers care about politics even if they can't vote yet? I think that a lot of us kind of seem to overlook the fact that even if we can't vote, we still have a voice. Things like, and for example, if you look at your school board, which is people are elected to your school board oftentimes, or they're appointed, but like usually it's like a political entity, you could consider it. If they're making decisions on behalf of students at the school, you absolutely have a right to attend the meeting and advocate for yourself. And that's a place where you can care about politics even if you can't vote. As a student, their policies are directly affecting you, and you should care about politics. And that kind of widens into a bigger picture. Your local state reps, your local representatives, city council members, senators, state reps, senators for the whole country, whatever that looks like, they have policies, they do things in session, whatever, that directly affect you. And that is why you should always care about politics, even if you can't vote yet, and even if you can, you definitely should, because these are all things that are affecting you. So the 10th question is, what is one misconception people have about politics? I think I kind of just touched on this a little bit, but politics isn't just elections. It is education, transportation, healthcare, technology, and so, so much more. The misconception is you vote on election day and that's it. No. You, first of all, when you vote, you really want to make sure that you're informed voting based on, your party or whatever policies you're actually interested in seeing. But politics isn't that. Like in the city hall level, there are people who are, planning out your cities. There's transportation systems that are deeply intertwined in politics. If you take the bus every day, that is politics at play. And so one of the analogies, that I was told a lot when I was a kid is that math is integrated into our lives every day, but so is politics. The technology that you are listening to this podcast episode on is regulated. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Samsung, Android are all regulated, and that's politics and policies at play. And that's why you should care. And that's why it's not just elections. The 11th question is, where should someone start if they don't know anything about politics? I also love this question because I was once in your shoes, and genuinely curiosity is a lot and it drives you pretty far. If you just look up your local representative, start off simple. Read what their policy platform is. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you want to write a letter to them? Do you want to call their office? Do you want to set up maybe cold email their legislative assistant and ask them for a time to meet so you can understand more? It's also great to reach out to industry professionals who are maybe campaign managers who might need your help on a local campaign. There's always politics around you, so even if you know absolutely nothing, your curiosity is just enough to start somewhere, and you will definitely get opportunities. And hopefully, in some of the short form content that we'll be posting, we'll be posting some opportunities for y'all. So, now, a couple of fun questions that I kind of had before I close up the episode is, what is the most interesting political fact you've learned? So I recently just learned this, but this is an amazing fact, is that if you're 17 in a primary election and you're going to be 18 before the regular general election, then you can actually vote in the primary. So you can vote when you're 17, which is really crazy. In some states, I will say, it's not in every single state, but yeah. And then 15th, the next question, what is one thing you wish every young person knew about politics? I've touched on this a bit, but I think I wish every young person knew that it's accessible. We're looking for routes. Your voice really does matter, and I want to help create a space where every young person can have a voice, and they should be using their voice. And there are organizations out there that'll, kind of help you understand more about politics in the political world. Now, coming back to the Politicast, I've also just wanted to take some time to reflect. This previous couple of episodes have been great, and I really just want to expand beyond just explaining political topics to you. I really want this podcast to become a place where young people can learn about opportunities, hear from people, and understand how they can make an impact. I hope that we will see episodes breaking down important political topics, elections, government institutions, but I also want to introduce conversations. And I also want to highlight opportunities. So whether you're listening just because you're interested in politics, preparing to vote for the first time, or simply trying to understand what is happening around you, I am so excited that you are here. So, just as an update to our posting schedule, from now until indefinitely, until we let you know for further notice, our posting schedule will be every other Sunday at 12 p.m. I can't wait to continue learning, asking questions, and exploring the world of politics together. Welcome back to the Politicast, and I'll see you in the next episode.